In this example, I'm going to take these four roots, 3 plus radical 5, 3 minus radical 5, and then positive 2i and negative 2i, and I'm going to write the simplest polynomial function that I can, and I'm going to write that finished product in standard form. So remember, for each of these roots, I can go ahead and write a polynomial function in factored form by writing them as x minus k, where k is each of these roots. Okay, so let's start out with f of x equals, and each of these roots is going to be written in x minus k form. So we'll start with 3 plus radical 5, and then 3 minus radical 5, and then x minus 2i, and x minus a negative 2i. Okay, so here are all these roots written out in factored form, and we can clean this up a little bit. So we'll have x minus 3 minus the square root of 5, x minus 3 plus the square root of 5, x minus 2i, and x plus 2i. And so in order to multiply this together and write this in standard form, I see that I have some patterns going on. Namely, I have some difference of squares. The most obvious one is right here, x minus 2i and x plus 2i. And ultimately, when I multiply that through, I'll have x squared plus 4. Okay, this one might not be as obvious, but it's still pretty nice. So I can say that the x minus 3 is my a term, and I can say that the radical 5 is my b term. So I do still have a minus b times a plus b, which will be difference of squares. So this will be x minus 3 squared minus the square root of 5 squared. And that will be this multiplied together. Let's go ahead and clean that up just a little bit. So I know that x minus 3 squared is x squared minus 6x plus 9. So it's plus 9 for my constant. But I know here I have a minus 5 because the square root of 5 squared is 5. So 9 minus 5 is positive 4. And I just did that to save myself a step of writing. Okay, so now it's time to just multiply this stuff through. So x squared will have x to the 4th plus 4x squared. And I put a space here for my cubic terms. So minus 6x times x squared. So minus 6x cubed, and then minus 24x. Same thing here. Get my columns lined up. And then 4x squared with my 16. Okay, so I can add all this up and write my finished polynomial function in standard form. So x to the 4th minus 6x cubed plus 8x squared minus 24x plus 16. Okay, so here is my polynomial. It's written in standard form. It's the simplest polynomial possible because I've not multiplied by any kind of coefficient out front or greatest common factor. And so this polynomial that I've written has the roots x equals 3 plus or minus radical 5 and also plus or minus 2i. So here's that process.